Let's talk about the fourth retail banking conference, which is being hosted here. You're in South Africa, joining us from Mauritius. Tell us about the key themes, key trends that are coming out of that.
Well, thank you, Samantha. I think what we've been discussing over the past few days was primarily what's happening in the banking sector worldwide. I mean, we've gone through the banking crisis, as you've seen. It hasn't left us unscattered. And recently, with the issues that we've seen in Europe and the breakdown in trust that has been happening, we need to find ways of regaining the customer trust, the confidence that customers have in banks. That needs to be rebuilt. And we are also seeing things like, for example, the most trusted brands in the world today are Apple and Google instead of people trusting their banks.
Well, we saw a survey coming out from South Africa's banking sector, rating CEOs sitting at very much at the bottom of the list when it comes to trust and credibility. Exactly.
So we need to relook at the whole governance mechanism and the structures in place so that we are able to rebuild this confidence, to rebuild the banking sector and to regain the trust of the customers. And that also is being done in a context where there's a lot happening in terms of how we are engaging with customers in the market, in terms of distribution channel, in terms of new technologies. You've seen the rise in terms of market penetration of around, I think, 29 million you mentioned earlier in Kenya, and the quarter one figures of 16% growth in mobile handsets. I mean, that is showing us the way forward. So we need to really understand how to manage that relationship with the customers, especially in terms of social media nowadays, and how we can play that to our advantage.
At Bramer Bank, what is your strategy with regards to that? Because every bank obviously sees the opportunity that online presents and many platforms to have new touch points with customers. So what is your strategy with regards to online banking?
Good, interesting one. I think here we should not be just following what others are doing and trying to be a Me Too bank. Obviously technology is available, and if you've got the means to acquire that technology in the bank, you can have it. So instead of imitating and doing what other banks are trying to do and doing the same things, we need to think differently in terms of our market. And I think a lot of the strategy forward will be in terms of reaching those people who are currently underbanked or underserved by the banking sector. People who are out of the circuit, people who are not really engaging directly with our branches, with our electronic delivery channels, and we need to find alternative delivery mechanism to reach these people, and that's the way forward.
I mean, when you talk about that, how are you doing that? What is the plan to do that? How do you, is it through cell phones? Is that the way forward? Are there other ways, innovative ways that we haven't even discovered yet that you're thinking of?
Well, I think here we need to innovate in terms of our thinking process. And most of the banks, when you talk about competition, they tend to say, let's look at what Barclays is doing, what FNB is doing. In Mauritius, it would be what MCB is doing, what SBM is doing. But then we don't look at other competitors, like the retail sector. I mean, what are they doing? What are the Tesco's of this world doing? What is Walmart doing? We need to look at how they are engaging.
Give us some insights. I mean, because obviously you're looking at these retailers, you're looking at the likes of Safaricom, who in essence, started chipping into the banking space. And here in South Africa, that's the case as well with telecom. So what are you seeing? What are the innovative strategies that you're seeing globally?
Correct. This is where competition is coming from. And actually, before we know it, they'll be eating our lunch. So we have to be ready to look at co-partnerships with them and try to make use of their channels of distribution and the reach they have in terms of customer base to partner with them instead of competing head-on with them. And one of the ways you can do that is through things like microfinancing through the retail sector. And this is where we've actually done some work there since last year. We've implemented a microfinancing model which works with the retailers as delivery channel. And that is working very well. We are very, very happy with the results.
And this
we're the only bank doing that.
This in Mauritius right now?
Correct, yes.
Okay, well, thank you very much. That was very interesting. Thanks for those insights. And of course, we'll catch up with you and take a look at the success of the strategy. That was Ashraf Ismael, Chief Operating Officer, joining us from Bramer Bank.